Good evening and welcome to the Tuesday, March 31st meeting of the Norton Planning Board. We are here in person at the Norton Town Hall at 72 East Main Street in the Crane Room. You may also join via the Zoom link as listed in the agenda. And please feel free to email any questions before the meeting to town staff as listed in the agenda. I will call this meeting to order. Currently, we have 6 members in person. We have 1 member that's in the building at another meeting running late, but he will be here shortly. As far as our business and planning board business policies, minutes, warrants, we will handle all that at the end of the meeting, so you guys do not have to listen to it. The first item on our agenda is going to be special permit 37 and site plan approval 20 for 246 East Main Street. The owner is the Advanced Group LLC. The applicant is Marty Wellness Norton LLC. The applicant seeks to approval for a 2,000 square foot marijuana retail facility within an existing office building. This was continued a few times, however, we did close the public hearing at our last meeting, so we will not take any more information from the public at this point. The board will just be discussing the project, the conditions, and any waivers, and then we can choose to vote or whatever the board pleases. Paul, do you want to start off with anything?
Sure. Well, there are certainly 2 votes you need to make, and then there's potentially a third one. And I had brought this up before because this is in the Water Resource Protection District, but looking at this more, this applicant is moving into an existing space. They're not adding any square footage. They're not adding any parking. I don't know that you need to, vote on that, but the fact that they aren't adding anything, you could vote for it, and then the criteria would be, are they, when it comes to water quality, are they making any changes to water quality or quantity? Which, again, as they're not, adding any impervious cover, the answer would be they're not changing anything. So you could vote for it if you want to.
Tim, you have
Paul, did they apply for that special permit?
Not initially, but when I reviewed it, I thought it would be prudent to bring that up, so it has been on your agendas for the Water Resource Protection District.
So it's been on the agendas, but they didn't necessarily apply for it. Okay.
Right. But I was being a little cautious with it since it's in the Water Resource Protection District.
Okay. No, I've always viewed it as it's the applicant's responsibility to apply for the relief that they need, and if they don't, that's on them. But good on you.
The rare time I catch something,
So
don't take it away from me.
You kind of recommend we do just to dot the i's.
I think you'd be fine too.
Yeah, I've got no problem voting on it later. So the board members have any opinion on that?
No issue.
No issue.
That one's pretty straightforward. The other 2 special permits that they're going to need is a special permit for the marijuana establishment and a site plan review will be the other 2 permits we will be voting on. We do have a list of conditions. Paul, do you want to bring those up?
Sure.
As there's some pretty specific conditions. So hours of operation 8 to 11, as we talked about. That's what the bylaw says. That's what they're asking for. I don't have a problem with that. Anybody?
Nope.
Kind of go through one by one. If you have anything, please chime in. Adding signage at the ingress and egress. Some of this was brought up in either during the meeting or in one of their traffic studies. They need a provisional license from the Cannabis Control Commission. They wouldn't be able to open it anyway without that. However, town council, I believe, or town manager, one of them advised us to at least have it in there in our conditions. We're going to ask them to align their site lighting hours to the hours that they're open. Currently, we do not believe, or we have heard that their lights aren't on till 11. They will make that adjustment. Adding pavement markings regarding the exiting and entering if possible. This is something they're going to have to work on with the property owner or the adjacent property owner. It's a little convoluted in that area, as we've talked about. Also going along with that, we're going to ask them to work with the Traffic Safety Committee to address signage, or if there's anything possible they can make better in that area. That'd be wonderful. And then in the traffic report themselves, we heard this at the end of the meeting. The traffic engineer did call out 4 specific things that it can't hurt that we put in there as listed. During the initial month of opening and Saturday peak hours, the applicant shall monitor plaza traffic to ensure ingress and egress movements do not conflict with the through traffic on East Main Street. I think this would have been more pertinent when marijuana first came to the state. It doesn't seem to be generating that much business, but you never know with a new opening, maybe it gets busy. So I don't think that hurts having that in there. If peak hour trips exceed the anticipated 51 to 64 vehicle trips, the applicant, working with the police department, may implement an online pre-order or appointment-based system to level the trip distribution throughout the day. So that's kind of on them to self-police if they're having more customers than they anticipated. If necessary, use stanchions on the interior to form a labyrinth to prevent exterior patron queuing. If outdoor queuing occurs, use weather-resistant stanchions to be placed parallel to the building facade so as to not conflict with internal movements. And security personnel will manage the exterior to prevent patrons from congregating in the parking lot, ensuring the safe transition from the vehicle to store and back to the vehicle. And as is required, they've got 25,000 surety per their decommissioning plan. Anybody else have anything they want to add or we talked about that we think we missed in the, for conditions? Tim?
No.
Can you scroll up, Paul, to 1 and 4? I think this is something that we discussed at the last meeting about the lighting and the hours. I don't have specific wording on this, but I'm sure that we can come up with, I trust Paul would be able to come up with something that hours of operation as per the bylaw dependent on adequate site lighting in those hours. So they need to fix the lighting before they get the hours of operation that they want. Not, I want them to be linked, basically. So if you get the site lighting, you can get the hours. If the site lighting stays as it is, you get whatever hours the site lighting is turned on for, basically.
I think we heard it's 10 right now currently maybe in the plaza.
Yeah, but
Current condition.
basically that it forces the tail to wag the dog, so to speak.
Correct. We have it listed separately. We can put them both on one line. It's should be fine.
Something like that.
And I'll put that condition in the prior to final occupancy, that the
Yeah.
lighting shall be established.
And yeah, pursuant to public safety at the site or something like that. Yeah. If they want the hours to 11, then they are now motivated to get the lighting adjusted rather than, oh yeah, we've been having trouble with getting the landlord to get the contractor out to do that or something. I've never heard anybody blame a contractor for anything.
Never. So other than those conditions, any questions, comments, concerns regarding this application? Rob?
Yeah, oh, sorry, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
I did go back when the video came out. I watched it and wrote down what the issues and the concerns were that were being raised. They were largely around the traffic and the pulling in and out of that entrance. So I did go up there myself. I went 2 different days. One of the days in a very little tiny sports car, so I was low. And in rush hour too. Honestly, I never had a problem making a left turn out of that place or anything. It was easy as heck every time. And the sight lines are actually quite good because of the way the road curves gradually. You can see right across the Quick Mart parking lot, and you see a good distance. So, thank you, Peter. So that just giving that input that the issues raised, I just didn't observe any of them when I was going there. They were saying it was too narrow. It's actually quite wide. While I was waiting to make one of my left turns, some people were coming out, going by me to make the right. So
Yeah, I don't think it's an ideal. I don't think that's how that plaza would be set up if they're building it new today. It would be set up probably different.
Yep.
That's what we're working with. It's been working there with the same amount of businesses maybe
Yeah.
different uses, but the same amount of businesses for some time now.
Yeah, the sign that was said to be blocking view, it's actually set back a little bit
It
from
is.
the road. So when you're waiting to make the left, it's by the back of your car. It's just not in the way at all. And the phone pole that was said to be right in the middle, it's not. It's off down to one side. The only observation I had, and it really wouldn't be a condition to bother these guys with, would be it'd be nice if the town could possibly put in a left turn lane for people going eastbound. But that's totally separate topic. If you'd like, I'll just go mention that to Bob Kimball. Would be the
We'll put that right at the bottom of the list.
way at the bottom. Next page.
So if there's no other questions, comments, or concerns, the public hearing is closed for all of them. We have 3 votes to take. Whatever the pleasure of the board is, I can start one by one. Good?
Yep.
Tim?
Motion to approve special permit for Water Protection District.
Second.
We have a motion to approve the Water Protection District special permit for SP 37 in a second. We're still missing a member. We don't have to do a roll call vote, but do you guys want to do roll call or all at one time? It's pleasure of the board.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
You can do just a typical, you don't need to do a roll call.
Sounds good to me. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? One down.
Mr.
Yep.
Chair, special permit or motion to approve SP 37 for use of marijuana facility in marijuana overlay district.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? 6-0. One more.
And Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
motion to approve site plan SPR-20 with conditions as discussed.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? One done. Were they online, Paul? I didn't. Yes.
I think I saw someone. Oh, yeah.
The public
you are.
hearing's closed for.
Yep. Thank you very much. Have a good one.
Oh, we can't hear him. That's the guy who.
Yeah. Yeah, I just didn't know if they were listening or not.
Yeah.
He gave a thumbs up.
Sounds like
Next item on our agenda is definitive plan 3 and special permit 36 for 0 Pine Street and 0R Pine Street, Wheaton Place. The owner applicant is Norton Land Company LLC. This applicant seeks to create 21 residential lots as a residential cluster development. This has been continued a few times since March 17th was our last meeting on this. Good evening.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Bob Forbes from Zenith Consulting Engineers. You may recall at the last planning board meeting, the meeting was continued so we could go to a Conservation Commission meeting, which was last week. Unfortunately, they did not close their meeting last week, although they asked us to add a couple of what turned out to be notes on the plans. So no design changes or anything. We added those notes, sent them to John Thomas for his review and any suggestions he may have. And he wrote back to us and said that he felt that they adequately responded to everything the Conservation Commission had asked for. Again, some of those items had to do with some stormwater management on individual lots, and even though we were meeting the entire intent of the meeting and exceeding the entire intent of the stormwater management guidelines, they wanted additional. So that's what we agreed to do. The only other items that changed on the plans, Mr. DiGiuseppe and I talked with the fire department and to get approval on the road names. There was one road name that was similar, one proposed road name that was similar to one already in town. So we changed that up, and the alternate road name was approved by the fire department. And also, of no consequence, the fire department and hydrants at the end of the two cul-de-sacs were positioned essentially as you're entering the cul-de-sac, say 12 o'clock. He asked that we move them to 9 o'clock, so we did that on both times. That's in order so if they push the snow forward, doesn't bury the hydrant. Makes perfect sense. So we were happy to do that. We did that. So that's all that's happened since the last meeting.
So I believe we just got those plans today uploaded. I'm sure none of us had a chance to go through them. Paul did review them. The conservation agent did review them. I've got no problem taking them on what they've seen since it's very minor corrections. Does anybody have a issue with those changes?
No.
We do have, just like the last meeting, we're going to have 3 votes on this. We're going to have to vote on the definitive plan. And we've got a special permit for the cluster development, and we've got a special permit for the Water Resource Protection District. And the special permit for the affordable housing, we're not even addressing. We're just going to be taking no action on that. So I understand we're going to do it. Mr. Forbes, anything else you'd like to contribute? We have a list of waivers we're going to go over next.
No, I have nothing else, but I'm happy to stay here if you'd like me to.
Sure. Paul, do you want to pull up that same page of waivers? There was a list of waivers asked for originally in the original application, and they were peer reviewed. The peer reviewer signed off on all of them, had no problem with all of them. Paul went over them. Paul doesn't have a problem with them. We can go through them briefly. They're mainly very slightly detailed. So the first one is scales of 1 inch and 40 on the plans. Second one's another scaling. Third one is to allow a 4-foot sidewalk.
Chair, it's
Yes,
one.
1 4-foot sidewalk as opposed to sidewalks on both sides of the road. I think we talked about that at the very first meeting. Allow Cape Cod berm. Waive the requirement to provide 50 feet of vertical curve length per degree of grade change. Allow open drainage basins. Allow a driveway lantern on each lot rather than street lights. I believe we all agreed that is fine. We like that look. Allow a maximum of 2 tree plantings per lot and a 10-foot wide tree planting easement rather than a tree every 40 feet. Allow HDPE pipe with less than 3 feet of cover. Allow 1 foot of freeboard and stormwater basins in conformance with Mass Stormwater. Waive the requirement for grading easements outside the right-of-the-way. Roads will be graded and constructed prior to any lots being released. And the last waiver would be to allow concrete flared end sections with steel grates at pipe ends. And again, peer reviewer Pat Brennan reviewed all those. We have any other questions, comments, or concerns with those waivers? Tim?
Guess I just want to talk tonight. Number 8 with the tree plantings. I think you spoke to this earlier, Mr. Forbes, and Paul, if you have specific feelings about this. I think this was one that was applied for on the other project and wasn't granted.
I believe that's the case, yes.
With the intent, the feeling that yes, we want trees, but I don't think you're not proposing not to have trees.
No,
what you're
we
asking
don't-
for
we
is
don't wanna-
flexibility, right?
Yeah, we're happy to provide the trees. What we're asking for is just flexibility on where they get placed. You've probably seen subdivision roadways where they're planted every 40 feet or so, and I don't know, it has like a barracks type look to it, and we just want to be able to clump them and do it. Let the homeowner have a little say. Let the developer have a little say. If there's a landscaper, let them have a little say on where they go. So we're not trying to get away from doing any of those. And as you were talking, Tim, I think the word maximum there is incorrect. I think we should allow a minimum of 2 tree plantings in that right of way. Does that make more sense? I mean, a maximum, if we put 0, we would comply with this waiver request.
would be true.
So I think I intended for that to say minimum, not maximum.
Especially with 150-foot wide frontage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're reducing the number of trees.
And if you want to change that to minimum 3 trees per lot, that's fine too. You know, I wanted to leave it in there just, and I do realize that the board didn't grant it the last time. It's not in an attempt to get away from planting them or the number of them. It's to just have a little bit of flexibility, to make it look a little more natural, since it is in a nicely wooded area.
Yeah. From a like planning and development perspective, Paul, do you have any objection to that, or would you is this one of those where like it's in the bylaw, let's do it, or is this kind of a more of a common sense flexibility kind of thing, or
You have
somewhere
the-
in the middle?
You have the flexibility to grant waivers on this, and so, you can grant, we don't have to be that rigid. In certain areas, it might make sense if you're trying to create some uniform look on a corridor or whatnot. You might be able to, but, these are going to be people's homes. Might be a good idea to let them have a chance where they go.
I'm fine with doing,
If you divide 150 feet by 40, it's about 3.75. So 3, you might want to say 4.
Not a
What's your-
problem.
I'm fine
we
with
don't
it,
object to
honestly.
that.
I like it personally.
3, 4, 5, what are we?
3,
6, 7?
Three's fine.
I'm very comfortable with 3. That seems
3 is fine with
for
me.
like a normal frontage.
Yeah.
The Black Forest.
So the wording would be minimum of 3. Is that
Minimum,
what?
minimum of three
Three.
plantings per lot in the 10-foot wide tree planting easement. Any other questions on the waivers? So we do have a few conditions also, other than our standard conditions. First one would be coordinate with Public Works regarding water and sewer connections. We had talked about screening multiple times for the neighbors across the street on Pine Street. I believe the 3 houses were 94, 98, and 116. Did you?
Correct.
I think you made some contacts at some point.
Yes, Mr. Andrunas has met with them. We staked out the roadways, and he's met with those at least 2 of those neighbors. Yeah.
2 of the neighbors.
Yep.
So it's positive for me. Open space accessible to the public. I think we covered that multiple times, and we're all comfortable with that.
Yeah, we're happy with that.
Roads to remain private in perpetuity. The lantern lights, again, downward facing. This is kind of something I brought up. If we can at least have a quick discussion meeting or anything we can with the Traffic Safety Committee. We know there's signs out on that road. If there's anything we can do to add or help, it doesn't hurt looking at it again. If there's anything else they can do to slow traffic on that road, is there any grants for anything for flashing I don't know what it is, but maybe there's something, so it can't hurt to ask them and keep a discussion open about speeding and traffic on the road. Drainage area, mark/signs showing access to the open space, so we discussed like labeling the path going around the drainage area. Definitive plan and covenant signed when the final plan is after the 20-day appeal. Yeah, that's just
Just like you did
correct.
today on that other
So
one.
after 20 days, we'll have to sign their covenant release like we did for the other project. Any other questions, comments, concerns regarding anything to do with our standard conditions or our specific conditions as we've listed and talked about? Mr. Forbes, anything? Like
No, I have nothing.
before?
Thank you.
So if we think we're all set, we can, Tim?
Do we want to ask if there's any final public comments, or I'm not sure?
Everyone's tired from last week's. 2 weeks ago.
I do not see anybody on Zoom raising their hands. I do not see anybody looking to push Mr. Forbes off the podium.
Motion to close the public hearing?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to close the public hearing for SPR 9 and special permit Definitive Plan 3 and Special Permit 36 for 0 Pine Street and 0R Pine Street, Wheaton Place. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? So the public hearing's closed. We can now discuss anything, or we can, Chair would entertain any motion.
I'm just going to repeat my comment from before, that this is a pick your poison situation. I know there's people that love to see that remain woods. You have to assume that's not an option. Something's going to get built there, and as far as things that could get built there, this is probably one of our better scenarios.
I agree with Rob. He's got it exactly right. The cluster development is generally better than the subdivision alternative, and we get a public space out of it.
So again, the three votes we're going to be taking are special permit for a residential cluster development, special permit for the Water Resource Protection District, and a special permit for our affordable housing bylaw, which we are taking no action on.
And Chair,
Yes.
you also have to vote on the definitive plan and the
Definitive plan.
waivers.
Yep. I think the definitive plan would be the place to start if somebody would like to make a motion.
Motion to approve definitive plan 3.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve definitive plan 3 for 0 Pine Street and 0R Pine Street. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Next on the agenda will be a special permit for the cluster development for SP 36.
Motion to approve SP 36 for the cluster development.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the cluster development for SP 36 for 0 Pine Street.
Can I have a?
Yeah.
Where are we attaching the conditions to the special permit, to the site plan?
There's no real site plan, so it should have been definitive plan.
Or,
Um,
sorry.
It's already drafted them. Most of them are going to go into the special permit, but some are required to go into the definitive plan.
I'll amend my motion to include the special conditions.
Second.
So we have a motion to approve the special permit for the cluster development with our standard conditions and specific conditions as we discussed. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? 6-0. Last vote would be special permit for the Water Resource Protection District for SP 36 0 Pine Street with standard conditions and our specific conditions.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? 6-0. We got you out of here before 10.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Also, I amend my motion to include the special conditions for the definitive plan as well.
Okay.
I didn't say that. Don't know if.
Do you want to revote the definitive plan, Paul, for the?
And we do need to get to the waivers too.
Hmm?
You need to do the waivers as well.
Oh.
We have to vote all the waivers?
Typically, you all
Do
do
we-
them individually.
I
So we
think you
should-
did for the last project, which is why the tree plantings were
Not
denied.
approved. Right.
So can we take them,
Right.
want to take them all as a unit?
And they've been drafted that way, but you don't have to. Well, as Brian said, we have in the past. Even after that, we did with, I believe, Abreu and 125 Newland, that you voted individually on each waiver.
But can we do them as a group or no?
Does anybody have a waiver that they don't feel they would vote for if we take them as a group?
No.
I think you can. I mean, if you're
Okay.
We went through them one by one. We
think
readdressed them one by one. I think we're fine.
Yeah.
So
Whoever was the chair for the last one was an idiot.
100%.
Motion to approve 1 through 4. That's 4.2, 4.2D, 5.3, 5.3, and 5.6, and
It goes all the way to
All
12.
the way.
Yeah.
5.0. Yep.
Yeah, waivers 1 through 12.
Do I have to read them all off, or can I say just all of them?
I'd say 1 through 12 as discussed.
Okay, 1 through 12 is discussed.
So moved.
Was that okay?
That's Rob motion and Steve with a second. Any other discussion? Now that we've butchered that completely, all in favor? Opposed? See, I tried to get him out of here too quick, and we missed the waivers.
I'll bet you he doesn't complain.
I don't think so. Next item on the agenda, SPR 9 and special permit 17 for 0 West Main Street. The owner applicant is SRO Development LLC. The applicant is seeking to construct 2 top-of-the-shop buildings with a combined total of 35 units and 65 parking spaces. This has been continued several times, and the last time we talked about this was March 17th.
Mr. Chairman, Michael Larkin for the applicant.
Good evening.
So we followed your direction last time. We met with the various departments. They're going to incorporate that into the plan set. The one thing we did do is, as Board Member Warshall talked about, is the parking matrix. And my group just want to clarify that the matrix was, get a determination from the board, that was what the count would be. I think I talked to Paul and he said, based on the numbers he's reviewed, it does meet those requirements. So to make sure with the board, if that's the case, then the architect and engineer can finalize all our plans, do a final presentation to you guys to meet those requirements as needed.
Yeah, it's more helpful to see them on a site plan. I don't. Paul, do you want to pull up the his email with the parking matrix?
I think maybe this, like, the table might be easier to see it that way.
Or the parking table?
Yeah.
Already got it. Paul.
Got it? Good. Great.
So ultimately, with the breakdown, the initial number of units is now decreased down to 26, with 10 in Building 1 and 16 in Building 2. And with the commercial parking spaces, we talked about breaking that down with common area, net area, and then the reduction of the 40%. So we'd have 7 parking spots in Building Number 1 for commercial, 14 for residential, and then there'd be 2 additional units on the first floor, and a total of 24.5 parking spots, and the same calculations on the Building Number 2 for a total of 64.5 parking spots, which we have provided 65. So what, if this is ultimately we believe the correct calculations, then the engineer will then assign and designate the parking spots as needed.
I'm not going to do the math for you, but I don't see handicap spots broken out anywhere. Am I missing that?
And he's going to designate those spots as part of it.
Okay. We're also,
So handicap spots is normally for 65 spots like this, they would need 3, but I'm determined, as I talked to the engineer, if it's 2 buildings, he'd probably recommend 2 handicap spots per building rather than a 2 and a 1. Doesn't make sense. We do 2 handicap spots per building.
and we're going to need, I believe you have to do EV ready parking spots also. We'll need
Yeah, I
labels
think we
on
need
that.
to stretch code as well, yeah.
Correct.
Do we have a layout of the parking available?
We do not have a new one
And
yet,
that's
no.
and so if this calculations are correct, which I think believe said they're correct, I'll have a full layout for you guys, breaking all this down with the EV spots, with the handicap spots. I just want to confirm that this is what it is, and then they can, finish those final architecturals, finish the final plan, and give you a clear presentation for you guys to make a determination.
Would it be appropriate right now to give some sort of like guidance?
I think they need
parking?
as much guidance as possible because we have one more meeting before we lose a few members, so.
Okay. As far as parking, could we make it so that residential parking is separated from like clients and employee parking and the loading zone?
That would make sense, yes.
Okay. Preferably, somebody coming right in should be able to access the commercial parking immediately, where the residential would be tucked away.
Yeah, I think as you described, so we had the building with, if say the 60% was to the left and the 40% is the right, then we just keep all those commercial parking spots to the left and those residential spots to the right. So that would make sense.
So do we have parking inside the building?
No, this is talking about outside. So someone could park in front of the building and then walk in.
Okay. Okay.
He's proposing a few units on the first floor on the back side.
Is that in the plan?
It's in the memo.
Yeah,
It's in the
and that's
parking
really part
memo.
of the final.
Okay, so we need a new plan.
We do
Correct.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I was gonna say there's on the plan that I saw previously, the second floor of the large building is also inaccessible from the stairwells. There's no doors.
Hey, I'll have that.
Just- but-
He's gonna revise on it. Correct.
Okay, just yeah, I think I'm good for now.
Do we have anything, sorry, Tim, cut you off. What did we have for a traffic study done, Paul? Anything? Or just counts, or what did we have in there? I
I think
forget.
we have a traffic study from before.
So
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's,
it counts. Yeah.
that's where I got a bunch of question marks right now, because it's a completely new project and traffic's gonna change. Uses changed, everything's changed. So I don't know if they're gonna have time to update their traffic study. We definitely haven't had it peer reviewed, right?
Not traffic. Stormwater, yes, but
Not
Michael,
traffic.
that's one thing. Keep in mind if you're changing parking,
Yeah, parking's changing.
avoid changing the drainage.
Oh yeah, we're not changing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So if the board wants a peer review, then we'll just have to get that taken into consideration there.
I guess bare minimum, it has to be, the traffic study has to be updated for the new plans. I can't-
At a minimum, I would like to see the new building, the new parking lot, some of the updates we've mentioned
And
being
again, it's just
integrated. but-
that's what I was looking for guidance for the board to get a clarification of the the breakdown, and once that's done, then that can be definitely clarified and redone.
Tim?
Yeah, to those, a couple of points to that. Yeah, I think this is going to sound like a obvious statement, but when we looked at the parking matrix, the expectation, at least from my perspective, is that the required building parking for each building will be adjacent to that specific building and not just accounted for in the lot as a whole. So it's not one building has all the parking and one building makes people walk across a giant area to park and get to their apartment.
agree.
I thought that was
And then from a traffic study perspective, I don't know if there was a traffic study which was done and we've now adjusted uses, I would be fine accepting that if IT calculations further revised combined uses were no greater than 5% higher than what was accounted for in the previous study or something like that.
Yeah, I believe.
So if it's as high or lower or give or take a margin, I'm okay with that. If it's 10 or 15% higher, then maybe somebody looks at the numbers again. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes, sure.
The only thing that doesn't make sense to me with this is the time.
Yeah.
The time to get it done.
7:53.
April 7th, next meeting. That doesn't mean we have to close you out that meeting. You're just going to be down to 5 members.
Correct.
I think, and this special permit is for water resource,
We have
right?
affordable
just
housing
affordable
Affordable housing.
and site plan review.
In theory, the site plan could continue after the election with the special permit closed with the current board, since that's the one that needs the supermajority.
Good point.
It's not ideal.
I wouldn't want to close it until I've seen all the units that are being.
Oh,
there,
we're
so
not
it's
closing it
yeah,
tonight,
okay,
no.
so-
Yeah.
We would definitely be waiting till next
But
meeting.
The
for
affordable housing one would just be, you
Okay.
have to comply with the affordable housing bylaw, and these are the number of units that you would need, I assume. So
Yes.
that one's less of one that requires the site plan for an obvious statement.
And I think you got to get it quickly back to the fire department too, as quick as possible.
Yeah,
'cause
they've
they-
already worked on the fire.
They need to
department
sign
already.
off.
Yeah.
We need them signed off in our system. It's something we've conditioned in the past. We don't like it. We at least want to know they've looked at it before we voted on something, so you're not coming back. Any other direction? There was a new narrative and some things submitted. I don't know if everyone got a chance to go through it. If we can go through OpenGov in the next day or two, and any more direction or opinions or anything we can give Mr. Larkin, just knowing time is of the essence. I covered the few things that I had written down that was missing. I don't have anything else. Anybody else have anything?
Yeah, I just had one question. I'm looking at the plan, and it says the drawing A109. You're showing a washer and dryer in every unit. Is that correct? I know this is a plumbing question, but
At that time, yes.
okay. And then in Plan 101 shows that's the washer and dryer, and then it shows on another plan there's a laundry on the first floor. Are you doing?
I'll clarify with the architect.
Okay, just I didn't know if you're doing. Is that like a business? Would that be the business in a commercial space, or are you eliminating the washer and dryers and making a laundry room down there? That was the only conflict I
Yeah,
saw.
I'll confirm with him on that. Thank you.
I think that may be something that Steve touched on in the last meeting, is that some of these plans are similar to things that we looked at a year and a half ago. I'm throwing a number out there. I can't remember.
2023.
Okay, 3 years ago. Wow.
Yeah.
So there's some carryover there in terms of what's on what document, I think.
Okay.
So
All right.
it's you're not crazy for this
Still
reason.
playing golf, so.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Locke, unless you have anything else that you want to put in front of us, the chair would entertain a motion to continue SPR 9 and special permit 17 till April 7th.
Can I?
Yes, Tim?
I don't know if we want to see if there's anybody who wants to do public comment here. I know there was at least one email exchange about the project, right? Maybe. Wasn't there one that you responded to?
There was one I responded to.
Yeah, I think there's
correct.
one regarding screening as well.
Yeah, we have one comment from originally about screening the neighbor across the street. Is there anyone in the room? For special permit 9? 0 West Main. No one's jumping up. Mr. Jacoby really wants to jump up. I can see it in his face. Thank you, Tim.
Doesn't hurt to ask.
Doesn't. I'm just rushing tonight for obvious reasons.
Trying to make up from the last time.
We're feeling a little burned still.
100%.
Still tired.
The chair would entertain a motion to continue public hearing for SPR 9 and SP 17 0 West Main Street till April 7th.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you for your
Opposed?
comments. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Paul, do we have anything else next meeting?
Just that.
Unless
I
an
mean,
A&R
Even
comes
if we
in.
closed it tonight, we could have just canceled it.
Well, the motion was made.
Motion to reconsider.
You're not getting it out that easy. Sorry. Last public hearing on our agenda. You all right?
We got Eric here now.
Hey, perfect timing.
Sorry.
What do you mean? We're on our last application.
I've already been a couple hours.
Eric's already been sitting in meetings for 2 hours with another committee, so
I know.
thank you for joining us.
Want to stand?
In a good mood.
I kind of do, actually.
The public hearing for special permit 33 and site plan approval 18 for 61 West Main Street. The owner applicant is Corvo Properties. The applicant seeks approval for a 4-story top-of-the-shop building and rebuilding an existing food and beverage retail store. This has been continued multiple times. The last time we talked about this was March 17th. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Jack Jacoby, 144 Bank Street, Attleboro, representing the applicant. There were 2 issues that were semi-open last time. One was that you asked us to get some pictures of how we might alter the exterior look of the building, and I think Paul has those. Do you want to? You had indicated that it was probably impractical to have our architect completely redesign it, but we told you we would get some pictures of what we thought might be more in keeping with what you were looking for. We did file those, and we were hoping to get some feedback as to whether we were going in the right direction on that. While they're looking for that, I can also tell you that the other question was concerning the water resource special permit. So the question was how much area was impervious, and previous iteration of this site had 26.2%, which is above the 15% that's otherwise mandated. This plan has 32.07%. So it is an increase of 6.5% or so. But I would point out to you that 13.6% now of that.
These pictures, Jack, or
Are those the pictures? Those are
Yes.
the pictures. Okay.
As the start of them.
So I'll stop and go back to, since you have the picture, and say that we've tried to give it a little more variation, to have different planes, to have different materials, different colors, and we think this is more along the lines of what you were looking for.
Question: Do you have the other side of the building? From the other view, from
Oh, from
coming
Maple
from the
Creek?
center?
We
No, no.
Yeah.
You mean
Yeah,
this, you mean this side?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't.
have to
I don't see
identify
it in here.
yourself.
Antonio Rosito, Colville Properties. If you could pull up the first one that was the rendering, so I can start and kind of explain how we got here.
just a minute.
Is that number one?
No, it was just the rendering.
Oh, the rendering.
It's a different attachment.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's put them all together.
Yeah.
The
So-
elevation.
I'm sorry?
Yep.
Yeah, that's it. Perfect. Elevation. Sorry, my fault.
No, it's fine. I just want to make sure.
So this is what the architect actually drew. We were kicking around, obviously, we were discussing multiple different designs, and we kind of went to a kind of a pitched roof, but then worrying about height, I wanted to bring it back down to a flat roof, so it appeared lower when you were coming down. That's what I was worried about, was being too high. So we came up with this, and this literally came out yesterday, I think, because we've been kicking around so many different designs, different buildings, trying to meet the criteria and kind of the spirit of what you folks meant with the area. The reason why I brought this up is this was actually drawn by the architect, which is, again, a little bit closer. The other pictures you saw literally were me dropping it into ChatGPT and saying, give me some colored rendering, so you folks had something that you could see that was visual. So you're going to see a lot of things on it that aren't real or kind of wonky.
Sure.
But that's overall what it'll be. As far as from the other side, it'll look identical to this. It'll just be flip-flopped, and you'll be missing like minor things like the garage door and things of that nature. The rest of all those windows, like on the bottom from the retail back, are all faux windows because it's the garage. So it's just let air pass through and things like that. So it'll look similar on the other side. The body of the building will be stepped in, stepped out. The top will play with parapet walls, a foot up, a foot down, just to kind of give you a feeling of different buildings to make it appear smaller.
That looks nice.
Maintain the historic look that we're trying to achieve, or that you folks are trying to achieve in that area.
So you,
That's where that all came from, Bruce.
you're thinking,
You can roll through the different pictures just to kind of show you. The rest were kind of the color schemes. This is probably my least favorite. Well, that's my least favorite, but my favorite color is that one.
Number 3.
That's kind of where I think.
That's one I like.
Obviously, I'm willing to work with anybody, but I was kind of looking for more muted earth tones, darker, that type of
and when
thing.
you're talking bumping out, we're going to bump out in between the different colors is set in. So that lighter color's set in, the darker gray is bumped out.
Exactly.
slightly.
So they appear to be,
My biggest thing I hate is like straight looking boxy
yeah.
like that. What we would probably just our biggest problem with the thing. So
Does that hit what you were looking for?
Much better.
I'm liking this elevation a lot better.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
Good job, ChatGPT. It's maybe this front one. Are you a cat? You want to chase it? Is that what's
I didn't know where it was coming
Oh.
from.
If we could break this up somehow. I don't necessarily want to tell you what color to do it, what finishes to use. I think is just showing brick.
That's showing some brick, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely like the brick on it. But if we could break up the linearness of it, for me, that's the biggest thing I hate with.
Yeah.
What do you mean exactly on that? If you could,
So to me, when I'm seeing it, I'm seeing just a box. So here we've got some bumping in and out.
oh, that white part on the front is stepped in.
Is it?
That's going to be stepped in about a foot,
Stepped a
and
little
then
bit
the blue part with the brick is going to be above it about a foot higher.
Right
So
here?
it's kind of hard to see. It's kind of hard to see. You're right. but that will be stepped. And then it kind of, from the third to fourth floor, there's like a little shelf to kind of, it'll appear recessed in the top floor, but it's not.
I can kind of get that.
I had sent Paul some pictures, and I think he said you knew the project in Westwood.
So the same,
Oh,
a friend of mine built that and the one up the road. So
Yeah,
both
so you
of them I was looking at. The problem,
You know
I love
Giorgio?
that building, but it's like a wedding cake. He's got so much land that he's able to step back.
That's part of their bylaw.
Oh,
The-
is
The
it?
step back was part of their bylaw.
Which makes
yeah.
sense in a downtown, but on a site like that, didn't. I mean, it's usually when you're getting shadowing and issues like that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've tried playing with it. I had roofline issues, and I tried.
No, I think you did well just getting us something just to know we're working towards
Yeah, palatable.
something. I
Even
think-
like plants on the facade, break that up a little bit. Like some people do the vines climbing up. Like
That turns into a maintenance
yeah,
question.
definitely
Yeah.
don't want. Definitely
So
don't
that
want-
was
I don't know.
another
I'm trying
part
to-
of the whole design was looking at maintenance. It's nice to design things that look good on day one. I could be dead in a year. Someone buys it. This could look like hell. So you want to kind of be careful as to how far you go
Tragic story.
with those type of things.
the
But again,
commercial
I'm open.
the commercial space with the awnings and then the
Looks much
lighting
better.
above the awnings is definitely better because we definitely want to try to draw your attention to the commercial space.
Yep. And we even changed the stone. Sorry, we changed the stone around that as well a little bit to make it a different color stone to kind of give it just a different attract your eye, basically.
So I think you definitely know what we're kind of intended. I think you kind of get the gist of what the bylaw is kind of intended. I still think we should put in, since we don't have final plans, and I'll leave it up to you and Paul, I believe it would be left up to staff to, we've had conditions like this before, sign off on final renderings or work with town staff to sign off on final renderings, something
I'm open to that, of course.
like that.
Yeah, we discussed
He's not going
that.
to be, like we discussed, he's not going to be picking out colors for you, but
Yeah, to get an overall feeling, of course.
yes.
Right.
It should fit with what everyone wants in the area. I'm fine with that.
And you could say prior to applying for a building permit or whatever time frame you wanted to put on it.
I think the roof looks much better.
Yeah.
Just want to say that.
Paul, are you fine
Yeah.
with that power?
I know it's flat still, but I see what you're saying with it's not. It doesn't. It looks much better than the
We would
last
have,
one.
if I went with like a pitch
Yeah.
roof, I would have another 10 feet.
No,
I'd
I
wanna-
agree with you there because it does.
That guy.
Yeah, but it's a creative solution.
For it.
Yeah.
you've done a good job. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
It looks like when Anthony showed this to me yesterday, I was like, this is, again, one of the things when we were working on this, we were thinking of. It's nice too because it looks like multiple buildings. It doesn't look like one blocky building in
Yeah.
one building. So
Yes.
the massing looks different. It looks like, if you were in some old cities, you could actually see these buildings owned by, different people, even though they're all connected. But it just looks like it's, very traditional downtown, and they all, you can see it how it lines up vertically, but it creates just 4 or 5 different buildings.
I believe one of the words you're looking for is it has character. We have a lot of
Absolutely.
lack of character lately, but we're getting back into a lot more character. So
Well, again, that's one of the conditions we were trying to get with this whole zoning district was, in exchange for additional height and reduction in uses, in commercial or non-residential uses, was were the design standards that we could negotiate. And fortunately, working with Anthony, he had a lot of ideas.
Anybody else have any questions or comments on the renderings? If not, we'll move on. No, we have, Paul, no waivers I don't have written down to go over for this. They're not requesting any waivers.
Right, correct.
We do have a bunch of conditions, but Steve, did you have something you want to bring up before we get too much farther?
Yeah, please. I wanted to see how the board feels about this. The ground floor in the Village Center Core District can't exceed 40% for residential purposes. The other 60% of the ground floor has to be non-residential purposes. Our definition for ground floor excludes parking garages. If
I'm
these-
just putting it up to
Yeah,
see
sure.
if that helps. Do you want me to go to the definition?
Sure, both of them would be useful. But my question is, if this parking garage is for the residents, is it part of the residential purposes? Does it fit in that 40%? Or even that 15% of the 40% for residential purposes? For required associated uses?
If I may, the definition says, for floor area, excluding common hallways, parking garages, and portions of buildings used for building services or maintenance. I think it's clear that the parking garage does not count for floor area. But I think it was a reasonable question to ask, and I, immediately read the section 4.1, and then I said, is there a definition? Surprisingly, your bylaw had a definition.
You couldn't be more accurate. Surprisingly.
So I guess, yeah, so far, yeah, I agree. Like, the definition says that. And in any district, normally I would say that applies. Does the village center core supersede with having a stricter regulation? Because we have under Article 2, I think, purpose and scope for
For the village center core.
no, in our main bylaw. Let me pull it up exactly. So, Article 1, purpose and scope. Interpretation. It's 175, 1.3.
Okay.
Whenever any other bylaw of the town of Norton imposes a greater restriction than this bylaw, such other bylaw, law, or regulation shall prevail to the extent of such greater restriction. So does the village center core rules supersede the standard?
Let's see. Go ahead. If you had
I would
something.
say, as we talked earlier, Steve, I think it does. But I would say when you look at at that provision in 4.1, that does not call out parking. And typically, parking is an accessory use. And I would say in this case, and most cases, parking's accessory to the entire building and not just residential. So, this is really just talking about residential uses. And I know, what you're saying is there are things that we call for here, like stairs and elevators for purposes related to the residential use. But I don't think parking typically is not in the same category as stairs and elevators. And again, I think here at parking.
If I could,
Yeah.
again, like, so it's kind of in a gray area, and it, like, in a way it says, in my mind, whatever required parking for a residential use would be under that category of required other purposes related to the residential use. But if we interpret it that way, how do we get our 60% of the ground floor to be non-residential? Because then any amount of parking can use the bottom floor, and it's that 40% is shrunk to.
Well, I think the definition of floor area gets to that answer, because you don't count it toward you don't count parking toward your floor area.
I think I get what you're. I think
You're,
Steve, is your point that somebody could make the ground floor 90% parking and put a little bit of commercial at the end and say, look, 100% of my ground floor area is commercial, even though your floor area is now a broom closet,
Right.
and it's
So-
defeating the intent of
Intent
having
of it.
significant commercial space on the ground floor.
Yes.
So, I guess. So I get why we want to interpret the ground floor in this case. Having more commercial space available is a benefit.
I believe that's the only purpose of this.
So if we look at this, what is the pie chart of the ground floor parking, commercial, other.
It was, 4,000 square feet of commercial.
4,400, I believe it. So it's 100% of the ground floor is commercial. And I understand your point that somebody could have 20 square feet and say it's 100%. That's probably something that if you do get another chance to address your bylaw, you might want to take into account. But the idea of a floor is something like this. It's something that, is part of the structure as opposed to just concrete pavement that's down there. And there is a clear exclusion here for parking garages. So I would submit to you that we do meet the standard. We have 100%. And at some point, you might want to say that, you have to have a certain percentage of the area rather than of the floor. But you could certainly work with your drafting counsel on that. But that's what your bylaw says.
And
Which is
just
the thing we've faced numerous times is questioning what the bylaw says and what it means, because sometimes they're two different things, but here I think it's pretty clear.
and how much square footage is devoted to the parking on the first floor?
I don't know off the top of my head, but clearly more than the 4,000 square feet for commercial.
I would say like roughly 2/3 of it is parking.
Okay.
If you go by the rendering, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
That's
think
that's all
rounding.
That's
Yeah.
fine. Yeah, that's
that's accurate.
okay.
And also part of that is, well, okay, so if the parking is residential, again, like I said, what is it all encapsulated in the building, the entirety of the residential parking, or is there parking outside also for residents?
There's parking outside because we have 39 units and there's
4,400 square feet of retail in the new structure and 1,500 feet we got new hundred.
right. But what I was saying is that the number of parking spaces, I have to go back to my notes here, see if I've got that. But there are. I can ask our engineer, Eric Diaz, is on the line. Can you help us out, Eric, with the number of
Before he goes
parking
to that, I've been kicking this around in my head about 10 times today. Then I had asked Paul if he had run it by the building inspector, Mr. Bailey. And Paul, you said you did run this by him or didn't? I forgot what you said.
We spoke. Unfortunately, he had to leave early, so he didn't respond. But first he agreed with I showed him the definition, and he said also if it's if people pay for parking, or if it's any parking is set aside for commercial, the parking becomes a commercial structure.
If it was from the get-go labeled as a commercial parking area that was not for the residents, they would also have to include all of the required parking for the residents outside of that parking garage.
Well, I'll clarify his comment. It was, even if it's, a lot of places like this, you'll pay an extra monthly fee, if you're a resident to park. And he said that would qualify that then as a commercial lot because the residents are paying.
Seems like it's just part of the residents.
And that, in fact, is going to be the case here, that if you want to park underneath rather than outside, there's a premium.
I think so. Anyone can park there
No.
if you pay a
The
fee.
parking spaces will be assigned.
So they're being
just
rented.
just
No.
for residents, though.
Residents are allowed to pay to park in the garage.
Oh, I know that.
So
But I'm just
you folks spoke about a couple of things. Some of the commercial users could have a spot in the garage as well, some of the business owners. We're going to be charging for some of the parking. Some of the commercial people park inside, some will park outside. So it's kind of going to be a medley of everything.
okay.
I don't have like a straight answer. If things don't go well, I might give them some away for free. So I don't know. I guess telling you exactly what I'm going to do wouldn't be truthful.
But
I'm
you're
gonna
gonna-
attempt to charge them for it.
You're gonna number the parking spaces.
All the spaces will
and
be
they
numbered.
will be assigned.
But
as
you
part of the
folks are
lease.
talking about whether commercial or residential. It could be either.
Okay.
Depends on how you want to, what you want to call it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think we talked ourselves in circles on that with no clear answer. It's still right back to another gray area in VCC that we'll have to
Yeah. Go for
clarify.
clarifying in the future, but I feel like it violates the intention. I think the expectation is that the ground floor is supposed to be 60%. We're losing a lot of square footage there by allowing a larger building on top.
Do you want to pull up VCC, Paul, please?
Well, I'm sorry, what aspect of it?
Could you pull up the zoning, the bylaw itself to start and go right to where?
It,
Yeah, go right to the district.
Yeah.
And,
it's right there where it
The
says
language to VCC?
correct, that for the,
Yeah. To Steve's point, from a ballpark math, it should be roughly twice the commercial square footage that's there, give or take, depending on how you interpret the words. But, yeah.
But again, if parking is part of what we include as like other associated residential purposes, it should only be 15% of the 40. The other 40 would have to be like a lobby or something.
You know, to one point though, going back to this, one of our primary focuses was on making sure the frontage was the most critical area of all of this. And so that's why, you know, again, initially when we proposed this, we had proposed that the entire floor would just be for commercial use. But at the time, the planning board wanted to give some flexibility. But recognizing it was still critical to create more life on the streets, we ended up with this so that you're still just getting all of those bays on the first floor to be a commercial use. At the end of the day, I'm not sure that the size, I mean, I get the issue of the size, the dimensions of this, but the main point I'm trying to make is that I think this meets the spirit of the intent, which was to really activate the frontage space here. And so, Alan, what aspect of the,
no, you've got it. Yeah, I just wanted to read
Okay.
exactly how it was
Can
phrased
you,
out again.
can you minimize the cameras on your screen there, Paul, just so we can...
You'd have to
that's
get Ben.
actually
we can't do
Ben.
that? Never mind. Yeah, I get nothing then.
You can see it here if you want.
Oh, yeah. No,
I think we're definitely,
I mean, I certainly understand where Steve's coming from, and he, you know, as
I
oftentimes-
can't say I disagree with him at this point.
But,
It's hard to disagree with him.
Right, but I would just say that we recognize that, you know, parking does happen in spaces like this. This was really to just try to prevent more of the ground floor being residential.
That was definitely a discussion of not having the whole
Right.
3/4 of the ground floor residential, and like we've talked about, having, you know, a small office out front and the rest of it's apartments. That's
Right.
what we did not want.
Right.
This being so late in this process, what's the appetite for the board to discuss a waiver to this section? That's the only way I think we can easily clear this up right now. We'd have to come up with some type of language quick, but is that possible? Opinion? Anybody? Tim? Paul?
Are we going to set a precedence?
I think that's... Alan, is that your precedence that our position
I'm just
is-
trying to look for a way to move forward
And
cleanly.
if I may, in zoning, there is no such thing as a precedent. Every case
Every
stands
case
on
is-
its own. The law is very, very clear on that. And you have the discretion in granting waivers on one project, and it doesn't mean you have to grant it on the next project. So just
Yeah.
to be clear about that. But I would suggest to you that the language here, which says that floor does not include a parking garage, is clear. So I don't know that you need a waiver here, but certainly
Yeah.
the board.
Yeah. I think Mr. Jacoby's point is correct, but I also think that when we look at wording and decide how we're going to interpret it, if we interpret it one way for you and another way for somebody else, we would completely be
Correct.
Somebody would completely call us on that and be justified in doing so. If we were to grant a waiver and move this ahead, in theory, our position could be that how we intend the bylaw to be read is one way, or is that it should be a sufficient volume.
Could add to
Yeah,
this.
that's a little.
The request for the waiver for this would be so that a special permit can be granted for them to exceed the size already allowed in that district.
If you're interpreting
Depending on
it
how
that
you
way.
interpret it.
So they're already asking to go beyond the size allowed, and now they want a waiver
Depending on how you
to
interpret
not
gross
add the
floor
commercial
area.
space.
Yeah, I think that definitely depends on how you're interpreting it, and I can see it both ways. That's what.
If you go to the definition of floor area, it says do not include parking garages.
Well, just even the water resource district, any building over 2,500 square feet. Just that alone is already them well exceeding what the district says. And they're asking for a special permit just to exceed that.
Mhm.
So a waiver from the criteria just to meet the special permit requirements.
I'm less liking the waiver now, and I'm more leaning. I've gone all day, like both ways on this back and forth. The way I'm leading now, I can't get past in my head no more than 40% of the gross floor area, going right to the definition, can't take parking garages into consideration. Therefore, you can't take that parking garage into consideration for gross floor area. I
I don't.
I
I
can't make
can't
an
see
ar-
how that could be a waiver.
I can't make an argument past that in my head. I've been back and forth all afternoon on this in my head. I can't keep it straight. That's why I asked if Mr. Bailey looked at it. I wanted Paul's opinion. It's where definitions and bylaw, spirit of the law, it's all mumble jumble together, and that's why we're here.
And there is a preceding part to the granting of any special permit that they are not granted by any matter of right and are a privilege when certain specific circumstances are met. So even if they do technically meet the qualifications,
But we're not, this wouldn't be tied to a special permit. This, what we're talking about right now isn't, the special permits they're applying for is affordable housing and water resource protection district. This would really be site plan, that would be, it would,
Yeah, that is
Yeah,
correct.
so you would
It
be
would be
applying
not-
this
Also
toward,
need a special permit to alter the non-conforming use by reconstructing the Honeydew Donuts. So there are 3 special permits and 1 site plan review that we're asking for.
correct.
And I can address the percentages if you want on the Water Resource Protection District, which we had started to do and then we got sidetracked. So in the current condition, the roof area is 2.2%. In the proposed condition, the roof area is 13.6%. And that is considered to be clean water on the roof. And so actually, even though we're going up 6.5% overall, we're actually going down 11.4% in the clean water. But the most important thing is that we completely redesigned the stormwater system out here. And that stormwater system meets all of the modern standards, not what was there when this development was originally built. The Conservation Commission approved it, had it peer reviewed, and they accepted that what we're doing now is actually treating the water, and it makes it a better situation than what's out there today.
Yeah.
So I would suggest to you that the Water Resource Protection Special District special permit, that even though we're going up 6.5% one way, we're really going down 11.4% in another way, and then treating everything.
And your water coming off your roof is going directly into the stormwater system and being treated, correct?
Even though it's clean.
Even though it's clean, it
is,
still
yes.
goes into the system and gets treated. Tempted.
Paul, is that because people don't walk on the roof, essentially?
Most people don't.
Yeah, but that's basically the point, is that water, I think, coming off the
Under the
roof is
back bay,
cleaner
huh?
than what comes off the parking lot.
Right.
Between cars and
It doesn't-
trash
It
and
doesn't pick
oil.
up the salt and the sand and all the rest of the stuff that you find in a parking lot, especially here in New England in the winter. So it's
Yeah.
considered, for stormwater purposes, to be clean water.
So for me, personally, I think we're back to that original question. I don't have a problem with the Water Resource Protection District special permit personally. It's the site plan, and does this comply with our VCC bylaw, I guess is what it's different criteria, I guess is what I'm saying. It's not special permit criteria we're going by for the site plan. Paul, do you want to pull up our site plan approval criteria, please?
Oh, already there. What do you mean for the board's approval?
Yeah, correct. Just so we have it in front of us, because
Okay.
we're not looking to approve a special permit for this parking, is what I'm trying to get at.
Let me,
What we're using is our site plan approval criteria.
Sure. I'm going to pull up, again, I've drafted the decision. It's just a template.
Yes, which has all the,
Right. So I'll have the criteria for all of it. Okay.
which is good anyway, because we have to go over the conditions after anyway.
So here are the ones for affordable housing. I know you're asking for site plan, but
That's fine.
so again, this is important because affordable housing, it's essentially, did they provide 10% of the units? Then the unit shall be situated within the development, so not to be clustered. And Water Resource Protection District, essentially the last two bullets, that it does not adversely affect the existing or potential quality or quantity of water, and that it's designed to avoid substantial disturbance of the soils, topography, drainage, vegetation. And then the site plan criteria is right here, these 4 points, that you would review it against the adequacy of impacts to the natural environment, adequacy of traffic and pedestrian circulation, as well as parking, the adequacy of design to enhance the natural and aesthetic qualities of the town, conserve the valuable land and buildings, and protect preserve the historic and cultural heritage of the town, and that you reviewed the adequacy of landscaping and existing vegetation.
So I guess in my head, if a similar project came in tomorrow and this same exact situation was put in front of us, would it be any different now that we have had this conversation and we're all aware of it? If you know what I'm trying to get at. It's more that it doesn't comply with our VCC standards.
It doesn't comply.
Not with our special
My
permit.
interpretation of the standards in the VCC, nor the intent, I believe, of why we have those standards.
So it can't be tied, like I said 3 times now, to either of the special permits. Anything regarding what we're talking about in this situation would have to be with regards to the site plan, which takes into regard all the zoning and
So it would be the
everything.
zone, that's the.
In the site plan review, we have approval over the parking arrangement.
Correct.
As opposed to some other criteria, specifically for the village center core. Let me bring that one up.
Yeah, the standard is the adequacy of traffic and pedestrian circulation within the site. And that was, our professional addressed that, and your professional peer reviewed it and found that it met the standards.
I mean, I suppose, again, I don't actually have much of a problem with almost this entire project. It's overall coming along pretty well. But I do think there's an issue with the 40-60 ground floor thing going on right now.
And I don't think there's not an issue, but going back to the definition, it says you don't take into a consideration garages, and I can't get past that. That's where I'm stuck on.
Right. But then
If I have to weigh it,
right.
either way, that's what I can't get by, to weigh me to the other way.
Except
No
that,
matter what district, you still refer to the definitions. There's no separate definitions in.
but the interpretation says that if there's a stricter guideline, that's what shall apply. Which means
Right,
that
but I
adding
think
a
we're having
guideline in
difference-
VCC is now a stricter rule than the original.
Well, it's
a
Obviously,
definition,
we're
not
having
a-
some differences of opinion here about what that provision means. And I would just fall back on that provision was written to try to manage the amount of residential. It wasn't, we didn't explicitly call out parking. And parking typically is an accessory use to the building itself.
And I don't remember, I know that was a long time ago, I can't specifically remember in all those conversations if we had a lot of conversations about having parking inside. Or parking, I don't specifically remember, but I do, it is very common right now. That's how a lot of developments
Seen it.
are going, exactly.
3 or 4
I got another-
projects. Yeah.
I got one more question then. So the 40% that could be residential purposes, can that be parking?
I'm sorry, Steve.
That's what we're saying, it is parking.
Well, no, what they're saying is that the parking doesn't count for the 40 or 60%. That's what's being said.
Right.
Correct.
And I'm saying, so if they want to put parking in that 40, does it count as that?
Well, that's what the decision
in
we're
there?
making, really. That's kind of our sticking point either way.
Not really. Like there's the whole ground floor. That's either 100% or they think parking doesn't count and only this box is 100%.
And that,
Can they
that
put
is-
parking inside that box also as part of their 40% residential?
Yeah.
And then once they put parking in there, does that count as part of the not counting part?
In my opinion, I think bylaw as written, there is no definition, and that's where all this tension is coming from, because in the law itself, it wasn't thought of at the time. So if we're going by bylaw as written, then they're fine. However, if we want to fix that, that is a town meeting in fall thing. We need an update, and that's not the applicant's issue. That's ours. That is my opinion.
And would it not be possibly to interpret this as parking garages are permitted as not part of that percentage, except as further defined within the VCC as a residential use, an other residential associated use, and required?
Like I said, as of right now, I don't think we can.
But then again, beyond that, also one more. If they do interpret that as parking that can be rented out to anybody, including non-residents, then they also have to include enough parking outside of that space for all the residents.
Yes.
Yeah,
Which means we need an update to the outside
We
parking
meet
lot,
the
right?
parking requirements under the bylaw.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not
doing that.
exact. They're not saying what parking, who's parking where right now at all. They're saying this is our total parking and this total satisfies the bylaw requirements.
Right.
And again, if it helps, I'm still stuck on the definition.
That's what I was kind of saying. There is
That's what
no
I
clear definition.
can't get past.
Okay.
And if we want to do a straw poll, however
I-
you guys want, I don't want to beat this issue to death, but it's still up in the air, I think. I can't
Can I?
Tim?
I'm gonna throw something out there, and Paul, you can tell me if I'm going into dangerous ground or whether you think this is something that is not appropriate for the decision. The potential for the board to include a finding in the decision, finding stating that the applicant has made a good faith effort to comply with the requirements under the section of the VCC commercial floor area requirement, given questions about the applicability of the parking garage towards floor area calculations. So we're saying they have made a good faith effort to comply with this requirement.
And the language needs to be updated. That's where you're going, Tim? Or?
Basically saying it was murky. They made a good faith effort to comply, and that's what we're finding here. We're not necessarily, even though the applicant feels it's fairly black and white, parking doesn't count against your gross floor area, and you just make a smaller pie to look at your 60-40 split. We're saying our finding is, despite ambiguity, they made a good faith effort to comply. They didn't give us a broom closet and say it was a leased space.
So basically tie the language into the decision just so the next person can see that.
That's my cop out. I'm not sure, Paul, if you feel that's appropriate. Do you feel that's helpful? Do you feel that's...
If the board agrees to that, that's a finding.
And if you're
The board-
concerned about somebody coming in and pushing you to the 99% limit, I understand where you're coming from. And it would be helpful for a future applicant to understand that, in my opinion.
I know that's not what you want, Steve.
No,
Is that
no, no,
better
no,
than nothing?
no. It's more clear than I'm trying to think now, and this might be getting ahead. Just I'll try to get this one quick. After this town meeting, we update our definition. Now, if somebody wants to put commercial parking in the bottom, do they have to comply with the percentage?
Unless we update make it clearer.
To hang on.
I'm not sure, thinking about it this long, how
Okay.
I'm not sure I would interpret it.
That's
I was going, if someone applies tomorrow, am I going to interpret this different with all the facts that we've talked about now? Completely different, completely similar project.
yeah.
Would we treat it any different? How would we go about it? Reading the definitions, reading the zoning,
Yeah.
and I think I'd still be stuck on the definition of can't factor in the parking garage.
That's why I made my own option C.
I like it.
And somebody comes and pushes with a broom closet, we say, this isn't a good faith effort to comply with this. I don't know if it would hold up, but it would be consistent, at least.
Do we have to use the word comply, or is there because I feel like the definitions where I'm hung up as well, and technically in my interpretation of the definition that I can't get past, they're in compliance with it, but can it be that they showed a good faith to, how's it to say, not do a broom closet?
In the spirit of the law?
Yeah, the intent of it was more, but I don't want to give other people ideas that there's a less, I don't know.
They didn't maximally avoid it.
Yeah, like that, basically.
Because I would say, if we're talking about the 1%, I'm not sure what that building looks like, but that sounds like you have a very small space up front, and that would not meet the intent of it, because you have
a
to
leasing
do all
office.
commercial on your frontage.
It could be a very skinny frontage.
Like
You could put
a wraparound building.
You could put a FedEx locker in front.
A showroom.
You could put a 5-foot wide FedEx drop-off locker in front and call that commercial and have everything behind it be parking.
Or an HOA.
Always come up with that.
I am nothing if not a cynic and a devil's advocate here.
Or an HOA lobby.
Yeah. The only other thing that I always get tripped up on in these types of projects and these type of buildings is, I know I consider this whole building commercial myself. I know it's a residential use. I consider the parking commercial. I consider, in my mind, that's a commercial building.
If that were the case,
It is the case.
Well, if that is the case, then it is not allowed by the criteria in the water resource protection district, because it only allows residential purposes. It doesn't make any criteria for commercial purposes. It just has further restrictions, but it explicitly states residential's unallowed use. I'm interpreting that this has residential, so it's a residential purpose. If it's all a commercial purpose,
It's a residential use. I guess it's the same but different. It's a
Right.
definitely a residential use, but it's a commercial building.
so yeah, it's kind of.
Bridget, how do you feel about the word follow?
How about obey?
No, I do not like the word obey. Thank you. Follow. Could I have it in the sentence, please?
See, I'll just go with the full motion then. I would motion that the board make a finding that the applicant has made a good faith effort to follow
Yeah, follows better.
the commercial space requirements as defined under
Yeah.
our section to be noted in later, because I don't remember the numbers.
4.1.
4.1.
I think follow
Um,
sounds much better.
This given ambiguity around parking requirements and floor area calculations.
And definition of such.
Yeah, that sounds.
However we want to polish it.
So
Second.
people can, there's a motion and a second. If anybody wants to.
That was a motion?
That was a
Yeah.
motion.
Oh,
I just
sorry.
went for the full on motion.
He went
Oh.
for a motion. I seconded it. To any other discussion on making that a finding of a facts in this case?
I like the word follow.
I don't actually think they tried to meet the full criteria. Like in my mind, it beats the bylaw. I know, like they found a good loophole and it works. It's okay. I'm not mad at you. but we need to clear up our language. But I don't actually think it's a third of the building. It's supposed to be at least double that size.
So one other aspect of this is, these are in this district are largely pretty tight lots. So parking's at a premium, and in this case, based on what they were proposing, they needed to park. And this may not be the only one, and it may not be the only one in this area. So from that perspective, they're working with the constraints of that site to meet our code and provide adequate parking. And it doesn't get directly to that question of the language, but I think this is a reality of a lot of West Main Street, which are some pretty small lots, and we have to be a little more flexible to allow parking if someone's trying to develop it.
It'd be a lot easier if this was the first meeting also.
Sure. Yeah, we're limited. Yeah.
Yes.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
Could you repeat the motion?
Yeah.
Going around in
Find
circles.
that the board finds that the applicant has made a good faith effort to follow section, I can't remember the number again.
4.1.
4.1 as it relates to the division of gross floor area between parking and commercial space.
Second.
There's already a second.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
Two
Roll
noes.
call.
Two noes.
2 noes. So even if we use the supermajority, finding passes. Let's move on to conditions. Paul, can you pull back up the conditions, please? In situations like that is exactly why we do not estimate time, ever.
Sorry about that.
I didn't do
I
it.
told you.
Never happen again.
Never.
Frank did it?
Yep.
Oh, what you
jeez.
you estimated a
I was
time?
going to buy the first round at the goat.
I told
Only
him.
10
No.
to 9 the last time I
If I
left
take
here at
time to
11,
talk to
and
Tim
you
later
guys
about
still
doing
had
that.
3 hearings to
We
do.
were here. I have a timestamp photo from 12:32 a.m. Taco Bell started presenting at 12:02.
The screens
Started.
went up at midnight automatically.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. Everything went up.
That's the second time we've done
Well,
that.
I commend you for your service.
Thank you.
Oh, conditions, sorry.
Conditions, please.
Sorry.
Come on.
Well,
So-
okay, I think this first one we can change because this was about the design, but you had mentioned that we could put a condition in that the staff would work with the applicant to finalize design.
Correct. Second one, traffic peer review recommending the flashing beacon at the crosswalk. Traffic, assign a transportation coordinator, coordinate the TDM strategy. Tim? Do you-
The condition number 2 would be dependent on coordination with MassDOT, right? On that area? MassDOT owns that part of 123.
Yeah.
So I would just note that it's pursuant to MassDOT approval.
Right, but this is a recommendation, which is, I think, all that you have the legal authority to do. MassDOT would have to approve it.
Yeah. But if we say it's pursuant to MassDOT, then the building commissioner can't tell you it's a requirement. That was the,
Okay.
not that he's not a nice guy, but
Assign a transportation coordinator, coordinate the TDM strategy. What's the TDM strategy? What's that abbreviation?
Transportation demand management. So it's how do you handle, these are all strategies that their traffic consultant came up with to try to help with, with the flow of traffic. So for example, that first one, assign a transportation coordinator to coordinate, of course I'm blocked here.
We took this all out of their.
Yeah, this
traffic
comes
report.
right out of their traffic study. But
From
this is
Dirk,
about,
right?
providing information to residents about GATRA routes and times and so forth, trying to promote other means of getting around other than by the car. And these are fairly standard actions for transportation demand management.
A central mailroom, commercial tenants will be encouraged to offer specific amenities, discourage off-site trips, secure bicycle parking. Anybody have a problem with any of these conditions with our standard conditions also? This would be tied to the special permits and the site plan. That's all I have for conditions, waivers, questions. I think unless Mr. Jacoby, you have anything else, I'll go to the public, see if there's any other questions or comments from the member of the public. I do not see anybody with their hand raised on Zoom. I'll give them a minute to pop up if anybody wants to ask a question. Anybody in the audience? No one. You do? Name and address for the record.
Spent so long talking about parking. Carol B, 25 New Taunton Ave.
Can you just get right to the microphone so that the people on,
I'm up here. You can hear it.
I can, but the people there can't,
What people?
The recording.
in the recording.
This is difficult. I'm here tonight because I thought you guys were going to tonight look at the site plan and what it looks like. And I apologize, I don't have the right language here. So I appreciate the addition to the roof line and the colors. But in my opinion, it still does not meet, I think, what the Village Commercial District should be. I think, honestly, the only way a project like this could meet that would be to lop off that third layer, and now you've got the clearance to make a nice roof and make a nice thing for everybody to have to look at forever and ever and ever. But right now, it's just a modified box. And so with all due respect to parking and all the other important things you guys are talking about, what it really is going to boil down to is what we all are going to have to look at. And, it's nice, but it's really not nice enough. And I heard you mention Westwood. I grew up there. It's a great place. They have great laws. We don't have that. But that doesn't mean that we can't have nice things, too. And I guess that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Would you like to see the site plan? We just didn't pull it up this. You mentioned the site plan. I didn't know if you wanted to see the site plan at all?
Again?
Yes, I mean, we,
I saw it once.
okay. You had mentioned you didn't know if we were going to be talking about it tonight. I didn't
Oh,
know.
well, I thought, yeah.
I didn't know if you hadn't
But you
seen
just
it.
kind of went over it, and
We've
then
covered
you
it.
got all bogged down in all this other stuff. I thought that was going to kind of be like the focus, but I guess these other things are more important than what people are going to look at. Yeah, just in my own head. But no, I don't need to see it again. I saw it then. I saw it tonight. I see the differences. Again, some improvement.
And with regard
but-
to what you said about lopping the top off, and that's what
Oh,
you obviously know about.
Lopping, well, because you've got what is it, top of the shop, where you got your shops on the bottom, then you have 1, 2, 3 layers of residential or apartments,
And that-
condos.
that's what's
whatever.
allowed currently, yes.
Yeah, yeah. So I think in order for a project like this to meet what I interpret the village commercial to be, would be you couldn't have the 3. You could only have 2, because then you'd have the room to make a nice roof and make it look more villagey. Does that make sense?
We do have maximum heights on.
Right. So, right, I get
everything.
that. So,
So
when
that's what's in front of town meeting, knocking these down to 3 stories as opposed to 4.
There's an article at
There's
the
an
upcoming
article
meeting
in
to do what
town
you're
meeting.
asking.
Yes.
Oh, so your bottom one is 1, 2, 3, 4.
That's what this
That's
project
what this
is. In
is.
front of the next town
Oh, okay.
meeting.
Oh, all right. See, like I don't. all right. No, I
In
get
front of the
it.
next town meeting, there's a proposal
all
to
right.
eliminate 4 stories and only allow 3 stories in VCC.
Yeah.
But
So
they're
then-
coming in under the 4 stories, which is currently allowed.
Currently, they're allowed.
Well, they can be allowed, but then there's what's right. I guess I don't. Right. Just because you're allowed to do something doesn't mean you should. But I'm not the
ahead, Tim.
developer.
I think, yeah, I think.
I'm just saying it's ugly and I don't like it.
Yeah, and I think in this case, the height and the configuration and this number of stories as is something that they can do by right under the existing bylaws.
Correct.
If I could,
That is true.
what is the height right now with the building, Paul? Real quick,
I was just thinking of that.
roughly.
Well, it's, this allows, is it 6? It's
45.5.
All right, so they're at 45.5. They're allowed to go up to 60 feet right now. They're already below where they could go. Just
65.
which is actually
60,
a-
is this,
I think it's
the height
60.
of a 3-story
I
building.
thought it was 60.
towers are 65 through most districts.
Yes. Yeah.
Anybody else in the room like to speak? Mr. Wiggins, you're awful quiet.
Honeydew Donuts was built in 1980, and it was the second shop in the Honeydew Donuts franchise.
Happy birthday, by the way.
Oh my gosh, April 12th will be 40. Before Brandon doesn't throw a birthday party at the Town Public House.
Thank you for letting us know that you know about it, Peter. Now we don't have to tiptoe around it for.
I've got nothing else on my checklist for this project. There's nothing else. No one else wants to speak. Any other questions, comments, concerns to the board? If not, Mr. Jacoby would be looking to close the public hearing. If you sure?
You want to go for a pitched roof?
Don't even tempt us.
I was gonna say, don't tempt us.
Don't tempt me with good time.
The chair would entertain a motion to close the public hearing for special permit 33 and site plan approval 18 for 61 West Main Street.
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Eric and then Rob with the second, I think.
I agree. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So as we've talked about, we have 3 votes on this. First vote, we'd be looking for a special permit for the affordable housing bylaw, which is basically saying they're abiding by our affordable housing bylaw, which they are. So the chair would entertain a motion to approve the affordable housing bylaw for SP 33.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That's unanimous. Second special permit is special permit in the Water Resource Protection District for SP 33.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's 7, does it? Last vote. Site plan approval, site plan review for 61, SPR 18 for 61 West Main Street.
Motion to approve SP, what you just said.
with our
With our standard conditions
and the
and
conditions
the
as listed.
conditions as listed.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
One nay?
Yeah.
6-1.
You also need to vote on
Yes,
the
I got it.
special permit to alter the non-conforming use to reconstruct the honeydew.
So we already did a straw vote and we voted 7-0. That were allowed for the expansion and the size of the scope for the non-conforming use of the honeydew, basically to move the honeydew. Like I said, it's the chapter and verse is 1.6.E or F. We already voted 7-0 under saying that we agree that's under our jurisdiction, as opposed to a jurisdiction of the zoning board. And now we just have to vote if we agree that we're not making it any less non-conforming than it already is. They're making honeydew smaller and moving it to the left, basically. So the chair would entertain a motion to approve SP 33 1.6 E and F.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That'll do it.
Thank you.
You as well.
That concludes our public hearings for tonight. We have some planning board business and policies to go over and some minutes if anyone's interested. If we can do some meeting dates, I know there's only some of us that are going to be here, but we have nothing scheduled past April 7th. I had just thrown some dates out there. Our town election is the April 11th. Town meeting's May 18th. My idea going forward, have a meeting on April 21st with no public hearings at all. Just meet the new board, digest some information, maybe some training, review of policies, code of conduct, procedures, read and go through our special permit criteria, maybe like almost a, hoping we have at least 2 more people, or assuming we're going to have more people, and it never hurts to refresh. Also want to discuss, we'll have on there town meeting, what we have going in front of town meeting, just so the new board can discuss it, and maybe strategy and plans going forward for fall town meeting, starting to think about what we want to put on fall town meeting. Between all that, that's more than enough for a full hearing, and not having a bunch of board members that just got elected come right in and have to digest, you know all about it. You got to learn your email, you got to learn getting in. So if we give them a little bit of buffer, that's my idea for that. So that would be April 21st. And then I just kind of did every other Tuesday like we've been doing. It'd be May 5th, May 19th, June 2nd, and June 16th.
I had no issue with any of those dates, and I think you also mentioned that once we had new people, and we would just double check with them.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we can just pencil these in for now. We want Paul to have.
So I think it's a good call.
Yeah.
We could have. We have one other thing that might be going on, like a May 5th date, possibly.
Yeah. And just,
But there's not like there's 10 things in the system right now backing up.
right, we just have one at this point, but I guess I
Which
would
isn't complete.
caution about having a meeting the night after town meeting.
Which is
The 19th.
Oh, we've done that before.
Yes,
Done
we
that
have.
several times.
Yep. So we'll take May 9th. We'll take May 19th out there for now. And
Who was
we'll-
it, April 21st? What's the next one? May?
May 5th.
May 5th.
And do you want to do the
May 19th.
26th? No, we just took out the 19th.
Take out the 19th because that's after town meeting.
Maybe the 26th.
That would be the day after Memorial Day.
Okay, maybe not the 26th.
I'd rather do day after town meeting than
I mean, we don't have to schedule it for now.
Yeah, we can just wait.
We
I
can
can see
pencil in June 2nd and June 16th for now if we want.
Okay.
Tentatively, and like I said, we can review this again on April 21st.
Yeah.
I at least think we just have to have the 5th in there just for something.
Yes.
Yeah.
And just so everybody knows, the 23rd of June, which you don't have now, is the last day of school currently for most kids.
Okay.
Did
Norton?
someone be free to serve on the planning board?
I was gonna say some of them may be flying away.
And also on the 21st, we'll be having, I don't know, remember if you mentioned elections.
Yes.
The board.
Oh,
If I
right.
didn't
Yeah,
catch
April
that,
21st.
my apologies.
Elections for board positions.
Board positions and representative to committees, et cetera. We're just going to vote Eric on all the committees again, whether he's here or not.
If you're amenable to continuing in your role.
Don't mind having 5 jobs.
What'd you say, Rob? Sorry.
Do you mind if I ask if you're amenable to continuing in your role?
I don't even know who you are.
Yeah, we shouldn't talk about that one
Yeah.
right
We'll
now.
talk about it that night.
So you do mind me asking, okay.
We've got some minutes that Brian was told are outstanding. A lot of them we can't all vote on.
Yeah.
What we're going to do, I got a list of them. We're going to go through them one by one. Brian's going to double check us who can vote on them. He should have that teed up. And we'll just get through these so we can have as much cleared up as possible, and then we're almost caught up. So first missing set of minutes was September 15th of 2020. I was on ZBA. I wasn't on planning board. Tim, you were on. I think you were the only one.
Okay.
I wasn't there, yeah.
So
I was chair then. So,
well, that's depressing.
yes. Took over in the middle of 2020. That was fun.
Eric, were you here?
No,
Only member there was Tim. I had moved in like a few months before that.
Oh, really?
only member was Tim, and I was on ZBA at the time. So Tim's the only one that can vote on them, but anyone can make a motion in a second, I believe.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
So all in favor?
Aye.
And then the rest of us will abstain because we weren't there.
Abstain,
So I
yeah.
abstain.
Abstain.
And
Abstention.
February 27th, 2020.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No.
You
Abstain.
You abstained.
February 7th?
No. 2020.
2020.
Oh, 20. Oh, okay.
The only one you can vote in is the last one. For
Steve Hornsby also approves.
Next set of minutes, November 15th, 2022. Brian, I believe I was there.
Can you repeat the date?
November 15th, 2022.
Yes, you joined in 2021.
So motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Abstain?
Abstain.
Abstain.
aye. Oh, abstain. Sorry, I thought you were asked.
Either way.
That's 2-4. The rest abstain. October 25th, 2022.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
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 October 18th, 2022.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
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 June 21st, 2022.
Motion to approve.
Hey, you're
Second.
2023?
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Abstain?
Abstain.
Abstain.
I swear we did these before.
Oh,
That's okay.
that's okay. We're doing them again.
We did a whole bunch of them, but they were like 2024, 2025. No,
The
they were
clerk
like
has these are
2025.
missing, so we're just going to do it and be done with it.
Mm-hmm.
November 14th, 2023.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Abstain?
Abstain.
Aye. Abstain.
I think other people could vote on that one, right?
Steve
I
did.
voted.
Steve did.
So that's
Eric could as
Aye.
well, right?
Yeah. I got confused.
It's 2026 now, and you have a 3-year term, so
It,
I was told there was no math.
it feels a lot longer today, okay?
Eh,
So yeah, Eric and Steve, you can both vote on these. They all look like, well, when the election would have been. We have from March 20, coming up, we have March 28th and March 14th and March 28th.
it would have been April of 2023.
So they're not going to be able to vote on those two. So that was November 14th. That's four yeses. The rest are abstain.
Correct.
October 17th, 2023.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain?
Abstain.
Aye.
So going backwards in time, November 28th, 2023.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I believe that's March 28th. Wait, I'm so sorry. Where'd you go?
March 28th.
You said
said
November
November.
28th.
Like I said, March 28th.
Okay, perfect. All right.
So I can't vote on this one.
No.
These,
Abstain.
that one and the next one you cannot vote on, you and Eric. March 14th, 2023.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Abstain?
Abstain.
October 8th, 2024.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
October 20th, 24?
Yeah, we skipped. Yep.
You keep
No,
skipping.
it's no. Did you do March 14th?
Yes.
He did.
Okay.
Yes.
It's October 8th, 2024. Yeah, that's
Yes.
right. Yeah.
So I was here for that one,
So
right?
aye.
Yes.
Yeah, I wasn't.
Approved
No,
by
the
me.
next two of the March. You meant the two were March. Yeah, sorry.
Let's do that vote again. So October 8th, 2024. All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain?
Aye.
The last one I have is February 25th, 2026. We should be able to remember that one. Anyone
Motion
have
to
any-
approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Brian, you good? Miss one? No?
Did you follow that?
Is that good?
We all get Jill's gold star, or do we just get off the naughty list?
I think we just get off the naughty list.
Yeah. No.
Brian, no more bills? I didn't see any bills yet to pass down. Do you have any bills?
I have.
Well, Brian's got some bills to pass down. We started signing some Mylars and some plans at the back of the building. I don't know if anyone,
You need us to sign on these?
Yeah, so we also have for Wheaton Place, we need you to sign the certificate of action. And then Eric, I have a bunch of things for you to sign.
But I've already been here for hours.
Oh, this will be fun.
Okay.
Did you sign all the things in the back, Eric?
What?
Sign all those papers up there.
No, I haven't.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna.
Have fun.
No, it's
Are
fine.
all the sign sheet, the decisions?
Oh, okay, yeah, that's fine.
Oh, let me make sure.
Oh, how busy are we next week?
Just
Bottom of the
zero
back.
OSB.
That's it?
that brings us to the conclusion of our agenda. Anything else the planning board members want to bring up? Questions, comments, concerns? If not,
Mr. Chair, would
Yes.
you mind if next session, since it's a quieter session, I just take like maybe 5 minutes to have a few words for the next board?
yes, April 7th.
April 7th. Yep, thank you.
So our next meeting's April 7th.
Motion to adjourn?
Seconded?
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Good night. Thank you.
Thank you.